I have fun with this game. Hope this game's pretty fun. Alright, without further ado, let's play Bahnsen Nights. Remember to save the game from time to time. Okay. Oh, episodes. How many episodes are there? Do we want to do episodes, or do we want to just like do no episodes all of a sudden? Or just put a full game? You know what? We'll put a full game on there. I'm not gonna just put episodes unless you want to put it as episodes. So, all right, episode 1. There's something heavy in the air. Some kind of tension. It's not just silence that follows his pauses. It's expectations. The son of the biscuit know how to talk. Dozens of people listen to Tony's sermon with tears in their eyes. After each pause, they wait. Suspense making their pulses race. And Tony knows it. You know the way he waits before starting certain lines. How he builds up the crowd's energy and makes the most of every silence. Though you heard his speeches before, you can't help but notice that there's a certain magnetism in his words. You remember that before the storms, Tony had used a car salesman. Did you know that the idea that hell is below us was etched into the Western subconscious by 14th century poem? Tony claims that more than 500 years ago, the devil sat behind Dante Alighieri and dictated the verses of Divine Comedy to him. All right, hold up. Oh, cool. I can save. Right, before I do that, I gotta get something to drink. I got water, but sometimes water does not like swallow anything all of a sudden. Let me go get a soda. Be right back. I'm back. Sorry about that. You looked around. You can feel the contained energy, and you know it won't be much longer. Where do you think the tornadoes that plague our county come from? Don't be fooled. You close your eyes and feel the hairs on your arms stand on end. Hell isn't below us. No, not beneath our feet. You crazy son of a biscuit. Hell is above us all. People recognize the end of the sermon, and you feel like something finally breaks. Huge amount of energy gets released, and the clamor is deafening. You wonder if this same crowd could be heard the passing of the F5 tornado. Trying not to draw too much attention, you walk away from the scene by strolling to the other side of the barn. You light a cigarette and take a few drags. You can still hear them cheering. You grab your head. What are you thinking? You didn't infiltrate the Bahnsen Knights to analyze their leaders' sermons. You need to know what happened Cupra. Cupra? You think of your partner, the work of the agency, all the beers you shared. Cupra is the godfather of your 3-year-old daughter. The day she was born, he promised that whatever happened to you, he would be there for her. You feel emptiness in your stomach and try to think of something else. I still can't understand why you smoked that brand Boulder. Tony started back to into the present. You didn't hear him coming. I need some air. I needed some air. Here. Oh. Tony shakes the keychain close to your face. You don't really seem to have the choice and grab the keys. Well, that's only one option. Is there something wrong with my Sierra? It's not. No, it's not that. Today's sermon was intense. I need you to drive me in my Sierra. What about mine? Should I leave it here? Yeah, don't worry. Tomorrow a new driver joins the group, and we're going to use the barn for the baptism. A new baptism? This soon? You stared at Tony looking for a sign. Nothing. It's not the first time Tony's had someone drive him in his car, but it's the first time he asked you. Let's hurry before everyone heads out. You walk to Tony's Ford Sierra and get into the driver's seat. I'll sit in the back. And I had to drive, I guess. Need to stretch my legs a bit. You turn the keys and hear the engine roar. Step on a boulder. Don't be shy. Why did he ask you to drive him? Why not ask one of the others? Could it be because he found you near where the cars were parked and just wanted to hurry? And what was that about a new baptism? Based on what you heard, neither candidate's ready yet. Even though you try to focus on the route, you can't help but think that something is wrong. A doubt forms like a cloud in your mind. What does Tony know? I'll talk to Tony. Tony, we don't have to chat, Boulder. What does he mean? Your hands sweat on the steering wheel. Try to calm down and think. Tony's voice came from behind the passenger seat. On the radio, then. Tony does not want to talk. Doesn't want to talk, and you can't stand the silence. Music might help you think more clearly. Turn on the radio. Static. What about right? Someone's talking about politics. Not what you're looking for. Oh, of course. Politics. Ugh! Sorry. Don't want to hear politics on my stream. Feel some movement at the back. Leave it there, listen. Recognize the song and chill runs down your spine. The whole blues and song about betrayal. I'll stay on it. Focus on the song's lyrics and everything falls into place. Tony knows. He knows you're infiltrate the Bahnsen Knights. He knows you're investigating what happened to Copra. That son of a biscuit must just knows. So what would he do now? Would he wait until he got out of the car and shoot you in the back of the head? You grip the wheel tight and with both hands. Tony would never kill anyone inside of one of his Sierras. Think of your daughter, Capra. Oh, the promise he made you that no one would ever fulfill. Boulder the truck. Oh, Boulder the truck. Everything happens too fast. And although Tony wasn't killed instantly, neither of you survived the frontal collision with the truck. Oh, I died? Baldur, what are you doing? Sorry, but you know the rules of the Bahnsen Knights better than anyone. Driver chose the music. Tony laughs and something about it calms you down. One of your favorite songs comes and you let go of the dial. I don't know if it's because how Tony laughed when you mentioned one of their Bahnsen Knight rules, or because you listened to the first song you danced to with Ava. Whatever the reason, you start to calm down. Before you know it, you're singing the song under your breath. Come on, Boulder. Louder! Pumped up by Tony's words, and you started singing out loud. When you finish, Tony starts clapping. Listen, tomorrow's an important day for all of us. I moved the baptism of the new driver forward because there's someone who's not going to be sticking around. The others were going to take care of him before going to the bar. Who is Tony talking about? And what had this nameless driver alone? Would they do to him the same as they did to Copra? Again, this feeling of emptiness in your stomach. But let's focus on the positive. Tomorrow you'll have your first route exorcism. Happy, Boulder? Try to smile to hide the shaking in your left hand. The rest of the trip you do in silence. You know that you will have more. You have to be more careful than ever if you don't want to be discovered. Park near the entrance of the bar and get out and open Tony's door. Tony slaps you on the shoulder and smiles. You enter the bar. Tony nods towards the counter and winks at you. He then vanishes through the door in the back, and Denny's the beers free for the Bahnsen Knights. Old Denny had been one of the group's first drivers. After his tragic death, his son Kevin had taken over the bar. Kevin despised Tony and his followers, but even with their differences, he upheld the agreements with the Bahnsen Knights. Does Tony know that Kevin spit in every glass of beer before putting it on the counter? You heard someone swearing to your left and see the group of men walking away from the Glenlivet dartboard. Dartboard was Kevin's idea. Each customer is allowed to throw one dart a night, but not the Bahnsen Knights. Tony had taken care of that. The Bahnsen Knights can throw as many darts as they want, and try to make Glenn's eye. Get closer to the dartboard or order beer. I don't want to get too close. I might order a beer. Even though it's a game over, I might get killed. I'm gonna say order beer. You know he's not gonna spit in your glass. Kevin was Copra's friend, and something tells you that Kevin knows you're nothing like the rest of the Bahnsen Knights. You finish your beer and stretch your back. You look over the door in the back. There's something Tony said you can't get out of your head. Starting tomorrow, they'll let you join the in the Holy Cross. You and your Ford Sierra will participate in the route exorcism at last. That's it, episode 1? No freaking way. That's crazy. Well, we're just gonna do a full game. You place a hand on your chest and suppress the burp before it reaches your mouth. You adjust your seat and muster the strength to embark on another day. been over a month since your first exorcism. You don't know how much more you can take. You still haven't discovered what happened to Copra. Nor have you found the evidence necessary to incriminate Tony. You lower the sun visor on the passenger side. Few drawings or holy cards? I'll go holy cards. You gaze at the holy cards. Sometimes you wonder if the agency complicates matters unnecessarily. Each saint represents a specific area of investigation, and the holy cards serve as means to communicate with your handler discreetly. Okay, drawing. Anguish constricts your chest. Oh, it's a kid's drawing. It's one of his kids drawing, I guess. Neither heartburn nor the burning sensation in your esophagus troubles you anymore. You experience a shapeless pain that doesn't cling to the body, but rather to the absence of anything. Ollie. You focus on the drawing, on those marks that still feel close to you, yet are part of a different life. He recalls Ava's laughter upon seeing how Olivia depicted you. Ava pointed to your belly and fang off fence. You would scold her for mocking your child's artistic abilities. Ava would ask you to put Olivia to sleep, giving you a playful wink. And you would lure her to sleep watching her fight the pull of the slumber. Aware that Ava awaited you in the other room. You shut your eyes and you believe you catch a glimpse of them. You start the car, knowing that the road numbs your consciousness. Cooper once told you that he used to fall asleep listening to the tape of white noise on his Walkman. Help because this white noise encompasses all the frequencies audible to humans. Perfect place for those voices that kept him awake to get lost in the crowd. Have you read Poe? Copra held Edgar Allan Poe in high regard, and it feels like a personal affront every time you told him that you hadn't read him yet. Glance at the passenger seat. Would it be enough this time? The day of the Holy Cars in the investigation couldn't be more AP. After all, you received every communication with your handler as a prayer. You walked with great strides. You remember Ava. How she mimicked the rhythm of your walk and laughed while doing so. There they are. Ava. 1950. Oh. Dang. Olivia. Oh, that's 3 years old. She's 3 when she died. That's crazy. That's sad though. It was your handler's idea. When you heard it, it seemed like a bad joke. You couldn't believe what she was proposing. Erecting the fake graves of your wife and daughter in a local cemetery. Your handler said it was perfect as a cover. Your wife and daughter would have been killed in a road accident. Would you explain your disregard for life and self-destructive impulsive behind the wheel? 2 desirable traits among the Bahnsen Knights. However, the true brilliance of the idea lays elsewhere, and that was a name after your real wife and daughter. As an undercover agent, you had no contact with them, and you could harness those genuine feelings of loss to make your cover more convincing. You gaze at your daughter's grave. You know no one is buried there. The dates evoke profound sadness, and you avert your eyes. You you're aware of you're aware your handler chose your daughter's grave for exchange because that reaction is common to most people. It's difficult to confront the death of the child. I might remember. Okay. Oh shoot. So for 20 cans of red paint. You know what? Tony paints huge crosses on the barns, and although the receipt is not evidence in itself to convict him. It could prove valuable for forensic accountants. Uh, Permission drive after curfew. After the storm season and some security issues that followed the humanitarian crisis, the government issued a curfew prohibiting movement except for those with a special permit. How had Tony managed to get a permit issued in his name? Select the horror card. Oh. Oh, what do I need to do so? Ah, fuck, I can't tell. Hold up, what am I doing all of a sudden? What am I signing all of a sudden? Oh, I don't know. Oh, that's gonna be hard because I can't tell what I'm doing. Administrator officer. Documentary. I don't know what does it do. I'll go to the right side. Wait. You leave the holy cards on the grave and you retreat the way you came. Would the evidence stack up this time? Could you build a case with this new information? How much longer will you endure the Bahnsen nights? However desperate you are to find out what happened to Copra, you're long to go home. You want to embrace them, kiss them. You miss them so much. You yearn for Olivia to draw you, for Ava to laugh at you, for Olivia to sleep, knowing that Ava is waiting for you in the other room. The Sierra gets in front of you. You manage to brake at this last second. Frick you. Vincent smile smiles, and you barely stopped yourself from stepping out of the car to punch the grin off his face. You think of Cupra, one of the exercises that he taught you to survive as an undercover agent. It's a mnemonic trick. You have to imagine sort of continuum for each person you interact with. It's a sort of bar divided into 7 equal parts. Follow me, Boulder. You looked at Vincent, and you can imagine that bar. The beginning of the bar represents full confidence. The end, total suspicion. That point where they are going to accuse you and discover your true identity. You apply Copa's trick to all the Bahnsen knights, apart from Tony. With Tony, you never know where you started, bar or no bar. Your Vince rev the car's engine. Okay. He wants to see us. You grit your teeth hard, and you take comfort in thinking that if the evidence is good enough this time, it won't be long before you'll be head back with your family. Oh, and an episode 2. Wow, it's crazy. I'm back. Pitcher steps on the gas. You can't afford to fall behind. Ever since the storm started, everyone, police, firefighters, and the FEMA for a while has been dedicated to the reconstruction effort. Is what they're trying to do. Resources are sacred, scarce. Politics never up to the task. Contexts like this, official actors attempt to diminish the chaos. Paragovernmental organization emerge. Cooper's mission was to infiltrate and investigate Tony and his Bahnsen Knights. Group that caught the agency attention due to their growth in the wake of those first tornadoes. Hell and High. Those are messianic delusion. The agency isn't concerned with the religious ideas of Bahnsen Knights. Agency is interested in the power to acquire, economic power, as well as territorial. Leading to the Barnes Gravel. By bumping your head against the car's roof multiple times. You refuse to let Vincent gain too much distance. Oh. It looked good, he falls backwards. Wait, I wasn't paying attention, I was trying to eat my food. What the heck? Look up. Hit the brakes just in time. Crazy mother trucker. Heart's pounding, and there's no room for even a moment's distraction when dealing with the Bahnsen night. You step in a car and let him park it for you. You know they're going to tease you about this, but you also know you had a role to play. You're a boulder, a big calm guy, with a self-destructive urge gnawing at your core. You're an iceberg from which two chunks had been torn away, and the current carried them off, never to return. Your handler recommends you to use the cover story to your advantage, arguing that pity is one of the most powerful resources when it comes to diverting attention. Look at the Bahnsen nights around you. You can't help but wonder. Compassion, pity, empathy. Will these three characters be able to feel something like that? Heap was the eldest among them all, and if half the stories about him were true, he would have had guaranteed place at Satan's side. Luca, who you almost ran over a few minutes ago. You're pretty sure there must be a language somewhere in which Luca and Psychopath are etymologically linked? And Bahnsen, a sadist who never heard of the Marquis de Sade. Self-taught, a natural-born sadist, and therefore much more dangerous. Sorry, I was distracted for a second. Don't worry, Boulder. At least you didn't kill me. Although Ava and Luvia's deaths were part of your act of fiction, you can't help but feel a rage that threatens to consume you. You glance at Vincent, who shakes his head back and forth. Start to say something and Keith clear his throat. Stop frickin' around, you two. You know why we're here? Somebody wants to exorcise a new road. So I recommend you bury your demons deep, Boulder. And pay more attention next time. You look at Luca and Luca smiles. What's up, Boulder? Do you fancy me? On the contrary. You want to cover his face with bruises. Turn his expression into a rose-charged stain. And not to worry about what you may or may not see in it. Hey. Vision points towards the door of the barn. And three of them suddenly become serious. Speaking of Rome, Tony and Monique, the librarian. Monique is Tony's trusted lieutenant. Woman of few words. And who you doubt knows how to smile. Listen to me. By now I reckon we all know the signs. Why is his knuckles covered in blood? A new tornado is approaching our roads, and we're not going to let it pass. Tony goes over everyone's role in the exorcism. Unconsciously, you position yourself on the outskirts of the group. Do these guys really think they can influence the path of the tornado? Boulder, listen to me. Today, you go first. But Tony, Tony looks Luca in the eye, and Luca looks down. Find it? You nod. What are you waiting for? You run to the Sierra before you get in. You steal a glance at the barn. What was Tony doing in there? And whose blood did he wipe off his knuckles? Oh yeah, I see. That's right. You marked the position of the barn on the map. As soon as you heard the chants, you go back to investigate. New exorcism on the road. and this was the first time you be at the front. Most important position in the formation, for which you need the total confidence of the rest of the drivers. You always found it hard to read Tony. I assigned you to the top of the cross. Why give you the role? You gaze at the sun visor on the passenger seat. No, this isn't the time to seek solace in the drawings, nor to think about how much more time until the extraction. You start the car and rev the engine, hoping that the roaring noise will drown out even your own thoughts. Oh shoot. Right. What? You're not ready to be in the front of the Holy Cross. Although you can't see them. You know what, the Bahnsen Knight won't like your decision. Oh, episode 4. Oh, chapter 4. It's not the first time it happens to you. As soon as you walk into Danny's bar, you feel like you're floating. Like you see yourself from the outside. And you're somewhere else. Look who's here. The illusion soon shatters. Try to smile and return the greeting. You're Boulder, an undercover agent investigating a religious cult led by Tony. Looking for an answer about the disappearance of the Copra, your dear friend and your godfather to your daughter. You miss little Olivia so much. Your eyes itch, and it's not because of the smoke in the bar. You take a breath. What are you going to do now? Ooh. I'll go to middle. We walk to the bar. Kevin continues to do this thing without looking up. Or a beer. You drink your beer in silence. It's the first one of the night. Although your headward strategy is smart, you know you can't drink too much. There's a point at which no matter how well you can hold your booze, you're going to start talking. And on that borderline between what's fact and what's fiction. You run the risk of someone pulling the veil. Everything coming to abrupt end. Ever feel out of place, Boulder? The question takes you by surprise. You read all the Copra's reports, and you know what Kevin had become something like a friend to him. What exactly had he said? Kevin, current owner of Danny's Bar, is one of the most interesting characters I have met connected to the Bahnsen Knights. You like to tell him that you're friends with the Copra, and ask him if he knows what happened to him. And things aren't that simple. Sometimes there's just no choice. I was always good with numbers, you know. That's why Dad never let me go. The old man even asked me to do his taxes. Did you ever read Martin Gardner's columns in the Scientific American? Looked at Kevin carefully, although you don't know what he's talking about. You now understand Copra's interest. The first one I ever read was recommended to me by a customer. I was 15, waiting tables. This one guy couldn't make up his mind what to order. He asked for one thing and instantly regretted, changed to something else. I thought maybe he didn't have enough money. I ran him through the menu again, including the combination of stuff that I figured he might like, given what he already asked for. And in my head, I calculated the right price for all these made-up dishes. The guy just stared at me and told me to bring him whatever I wanted. He left me a hell of a tip and a copy of the Scientific American. On the cover, he wrote, "Read the mathematical games column. You'll enjoy it." You know how many times I thought about getting the hell out of this place? But I couldn't leave Dad on his own. Dad got me a subscription of Scientific American, and later he signed me up to the correspondence writing course. Getting the mail every month is what kept me sane. Boulder. The writing course. Kevin looks at you for a few seconds. He seems to enjoy being listened to. That guy who taught the course signed his name with only 3 letters. CLB. Oh, LCB. I used to fantasize about what those letters stood for. Lewis Carl Bateman. Lissa Coleman Burke. I never found out. They sent me these booklets with theories and exercises. Circle of the characters LCB called his creation. Started to put what I learned into practice. I even sent some stories off to some address in one of the booklets, and took the chance to ask about the meaning of the signature. Never heard back. Character circles. Kevin pauses before answering. Do you know how many non-collinear points are needed to define a circle? Non-collinear points are points that don't share the same straight line. Takes 3 non-collinear points to define the circle. Kevin smiles. Imagine 3 points on a piece of paper. When you connect the dots, you make a triangle. And if you draw a circle that fits around this triangle, you'll see there's only one that does it perfectly. Each of the 3 points you drew is a vertex of the triangle. The corners? In the center of the circle is a special point that's exactly the same distance from each of the corners. Imagine you put a point of the compass in the spot and you make the pencil touch any of the corners of the triangle. Then draw a circle with the compass. The circumference will touch all 3 points. CLB LCB states that a character can be defined by just 3 stories, and rather than writing novels or short stories, he preferred character circles. But a circle is a difficult geometric figure. Each his own tale. According to the LCB, the character circle is the most perfect narrative unit. And because of this basic perfection, the most tragic. Why the most tragic? Because the first thing you have to accept when you do something is that you remove the possibility of doing something else. The guy in his suit used to come to the bar. He didn't talk much. He read the newspaper and had nothing but coffee and for breakfast. I never confirmed it, but from the first day he came, I figured he was FBI. One of the LCB exercises was about that. Observing someone and imagining 3 stories that define them. Those stories outline a character circle. Want to hear this FBI's coffee guy's 3 stories? Yes. Maybe another night. I need to serve these beasts now. Alright, fine. I'll go back. him to go to. I don't want to just talk to them. I think that might be angry. Tables in the back. Never seen before sitting at one of the tables. Face covered, and you wonder he's hiding from someone else. But isn't it true that we all hide from someone else? Start to say something, and the man looks at you in the eye. Sorry not to bother him. You recognize the need to be alone when you sees it. Who is he? Does anyone know? Alright, I'll just leave it alone. There are two goons checking out as no one enters his office. Alright, I'll step back. Sit down, Boulder. There's a deck if you want to try. I had a record. You look at Luca, and Luca smiles and winks at you. Now you like to wipe that smile off his face with the punch. Monica looks ahead. You wonder what she's thinking about. And for a moment you can't think of anything to say to her. Oh, okay. What about Vincent? Ask him about the glasses. Seems that you want to make conversation, Boulder. I can tell you I wear them because smoke irritates my eyes, or because drinking makes them red. It could be because I don't want anyone to see me as I am, and I hide behind them. Or I could tell you a story from when I was a kid. Why not? Two of my neighbors, a few years older than me, they invented this game. It involved grabbing my neck and lowering my head until it's almost touch a freshly made dog turd. Seeing who could told me the closest without my face touching it or me getting away. First I resisted, tried with all my strength and to get out of it. But then I got used to seeing pieces of crap right up close. You know how many times I had conjunctives and missed school? What do you say, Boulder? Does it have something to do with what happened to me when I was a kid? Truth is, it's much simpler, you know? Got to look freaking good on me. Let's talk to Keith. Exorcism. Oh, people want to talk about the exorcism. Such a wussy. The P word. Keith makes the sign to Luca, and Luca shut up. Keith looks at you for a while without answering. Oh, telling a lot. I was locked up for a long time, Boulder. Do you know how hard it is to ask yourself questions, knowing how much you hate not having the answers? When I was younger, I got a stupid idea in my head. Could I break someone's eardrum with a gas pump muzzle? Once a question settles in my head, he takes a deep breath. As a stranger came to your house, sat down on your favorite couch, starts watching TV, drinking your beer, and eating your snacks. Question is in my head, are that son of a biscuit Boulder. The only way I had to kick him out is to answer him. He scratches his face. Can't be done, Boulder. Puncturing someone's eardrum with gas pump's nozzle is a lot easier than you think. Oh shoot. Never played this. ask how to play it. Rules are simple. You'll turn over one card per turn. Card is a salvation. And I had to beat the Doom card. Salvation seems low to you. You can add as many cards you want from the cross. If a salvation card is higher than a Doom card, you can continue playing. If it's lower, you lose. And if it's the equal value, you had to break the tie by turning other two new cards. One is salvation and the other one of Doom. If you lose the tiebreaker, which we call leap of faith, we'll be able to look for a miracle. Miracle is gonna be achieved if you match the okay. What? I don't know. I never played this. I'm not playing that game again. Sorry. Exit. Alright, let's go back. Leaving already, Boulder? Why don't you come here and chat? That's it. Alright. And episode 4. Or chapter 4. This is episode 5. Alright, let me just charge a new let me go charge this new controller. Ugh. Freaking hell. It's time. I thought you weren't showing up. Here we are at mile 54. And it ain't just us who crossed the paths at this point, huh? You familiar with the backstory of the Bahnsen Knights? Knights? Hold on a sec. I guarantee it's gonna be worth your while. Back in '83, there was this curious happening. Two Fi tornadoes nailed the heart of the county at the same time. Remember what they blabber about their paths on TV? I was working as a used car salesman back then. My town took the biggest punch. One tornado slashed it south to north. Later, another one swept in southwest to northeast. This way, I could cross. Got saved by a fluke. Town was pretty much wiped out. My boss was a son of the biscuit, Mark Fisher. And I ain't just tossing it out. You know what Monarch says about adjectives, right? Anyways, Mark owed me a commission for my last sales. He knew I needed that cash. I didn't give a dang. Once the siren quits wailing, I moved into the office. Troopers clinging to the hope of scooping up anything, but I found nothing. Cash box was busted open. Never found out who swiped the money. Wasn't marked. He died in the storms. Something snapped in me. Started tearing everything apart. Like the first tornado ripping through the dang offices. Let's just carry the glint of metal. Behind the picture frame was a key and a legend. Mile 54. Figured Mark had any other stuff going on. Without thinking too much, I left the office and I started looking for mile 54. You got any clue how many mile 54 markers litter this county? Started off with the closest one, and I didn't find anything. Kept at it, and after a while, landed in this spot. Barn was padlocked, but I got the key. I couldn't believe my eyes. Felt like I stepped into heaven's gate. I was stretching as Zero stretching as far as you can see. My boss had them imported from Europe, and for some reason he couldn't sell them just yet. You know what crosses Boulder? Crosses an intersection at meeting point. Two tornadoes, a guy and a batch of imported cars. But also two friends. Or pair of foes. Each bus carries more than one cross. The key is knowing which one to flaunt to other. Shall we go back, Boulder? Oh shoot. I think we might finish this game. This is gonna take me like 2 hours. Oh, my controller is acting up. What are you thinking about? What's the plan? Sometimes I'm scratching my head, wondering if you're just a bit slow. Or if you're trying to bait me into saying something that screw me over. Are you bugged? You still on a biscuit? Oh. You want to frisk me, Vinny? That's it, isn't it? Improvise boulder. Planning is for nerds. Did you know that saliva can stimulate soft tissue repair? And that it can accelerate healing? It's a little I remember from school. I dropped out at 15. I locked myself in the room and cut myself near my elbow. I spit on the wound and stared at it for hours. Showed my brother what I was doing once, and the brick, like a brick, told our stepfather. I could still feel the pounding I took. Things hurled at me. Years later, I tracked him down and took a butcher knife to him. As he bled out on the floor, I started spitting. I spit, and spit. Spit was all over the place. Except for the hole I put in that piece of crap. Boulder! Cross the truck's path and make it stop. I'll handle the rest. He rushed the door and fired the engine. Hey! Oh, right. I died. Dang it. Dang it. Ah, fuck. Hold still while we load, huh? Don't worry, it won't be long now. You know what? I'm not worried about you talking. Because you'll be slipping through a straw for at least a year. That's true. Blood to wine. Can you imagine? Come here, Boulder. Listen up. Need anything ready for tomorrow's station of the cross. Vincent, take Lou to the barn. Right now. Alright, I need to go use the restroom. And my food is ready. I need to go do that and I'll be right. I'll get your hopes up, Boulder. Not one of you is apart enough to be executed in the middle of nowhere. It's the wine. Can't take it anymore. Tony wants me to write his gospel. What are you doing, you mother trucker? Oh. Oh. I gotta stop talking. Do you miss me? Hey. Wipe that expression off your face, Boulder. We leave Lou in the barn and meet the others at Danny's. Did my game crash? Oh. Oh yeah, you can hear him, and then you were like, "Oh, there's something about the chronological order that seems seem to make anything easier to understand. Stories to wrote about this guy are called the Bahnsen, the ones above and the fall. He joined the FBI when he was pretty young, but his real rise happened a few years ago. About the same time, the world got wise to the concept of serial killers. Between 1973 and 1977 were the 5 murders perpetrated by a traveling salesman in the American Midwest. Police in each town managed to apprehend the killers after investigations that were quite similar to each other. Evidence seems clear. Neighbors locating the salesman at the scene of each crime. Murders committed with the object that each salesman was selling. In all cases, the salesmen claimed their innocence, but who in their right mind would try to save themselves from the life sentence? Then there's another murder by another salesman. Our agent decides to take another look at the past cases and start spotting some coincidence. And he finds a witness testimony that the police seem to have dismissed. Family car has been driving around the block of one of the victims. An idea began to form in our man's head. Why would anyone assume that a salesman would kill one of his potential customers? And not only that, why would anyone assume that several salesmen, 6 if we take into account the last murder, would kill their potential customers? Was it more logical to assume the existence of another individual? That's how our agent found the serial killer he dubbed the Red Herring Killer. Unbelievably, the herring killer actually did turn out to be a salesman. Salesman who was looking for another peddler who shared some part of his route, who he followed to choose his victims and commit the murders under the cover of evidence that convinced the police. FBI was able to convict the Red Herring Killer of all 6 crimes, and our agent was celebrating in national and international media. Do you want to know why he was promoted so quickly? It wasn't because of his investigation itself, it was because of the name, Red Herring Killer. The name was pretty good. It's very good. By this time, our agent had already made a name for himself in the bureau. Those were the years when serial killer investigations dominated the newspapers and television. Years in which the bureau organized talks and conferences dedicated to finding a general definition of serial killer, setting it apart from terms like mass murder or multiple murder. Our agent took part in these events. He even wrote articles for the Bureau's publication. Time between murders, 3 or more murderers. All of these characteristics were defined in this period. But time passed and the media stopped consulting our agent. He was carrying out several important investigations, but wasn't landing any arrests. A body appeared in 1980 with enough to suggest that it might be linked to a murder from 78. The Bureau had developed a query system to facilitate cross-referencing of information, but 2 victims were enough to make a serial killer. Our agent possesses unique insights, and he knows from the way of the press, the movies, and TV treat them. Serial killers had started to be seen as celebrities. This simple fact, combined with the egomania typical of killers, would change everything. Our agent had an idea. He spoke to one of his contracts in the press and told him about the 2 victims, adding the third that was unrelated to the other 2, but with whom he called out a simple coincidence. and he asked a journalist to refer to the murderer of the silver ring killer in this article. Day after the story was published, a man phoned the bureau calling himself the harp string killer. He said he had nothing to do with the third murder, but he did take credit for the first two, and he did use a harp string to garrote them. Our agent explained to him that the series requires the first element. Without the third element, it wasn't a series, and therefore had no right to be given a name. The murderer insulted him and hung up. Fortunately, there hadn't been time to trace the call. 2 days later, a new victim appeared, and the bureau quickly apprehended the killer. He had been careless this time. Our agent was back in all the papers and on TV, but he couldn't stop thinking about the third victim. Had it been his fault? This is our agent's last case. The one that broke him. The one that led to nothing but coffee for breakfast. In a crappy bar like mine. Adrian had known success. He had been on the papers and on TV. His name was recognized in the field, and he was respected by his peers. But not all agents were as lucky. Serial killers were grabbing the attention of the American people, and there were some agents who couldn't stand it. The ice block killer had been apprehended by an agent we will call Bob. Bob had managed to solve the case that had first appeared to be 7 suicides by hanging. By apprehending a suspect he dubbed Ice Block Killer. According to Bob, the ice block killer knocked out his victims with the sleeping pill, and he staged a fake suicide with the ice block. Put a block on the floor and hang his victims from the ceiling beam to make sure they stood on the ice. Then he leave the scene and making sure he had alibi that would place him far away from the crime. The victim would be hanged to death when he couldn't stand on the ice anymore, which would melt into a puddle. Adrian had some doubts about Bob's investigation, and after the retirement party he took the adventures of Bob getting drunk and to ask him about the case. Laughing, Bob told him that he, of all people, should know the real answer. Bob had created a serial killer by falsely accusing one man of 7 murders that were nothing more than 7 isolated suicides. He forged evidence, fabricated testimonies, and pulled some favors from friends in the press. Agent couldn't take it. He reviewed the investigation and sent a detailed analysis to a journalist he trusted. He knew that if they kept everything inside of the bureau, Bob wouldn't receive the punishment he deserved. But again, he miscalculated. Minutes after the report went out on TV, Bob was found hanging in his home. Our agent was blamed for Bob's suicide, but at times he seemed to bear it. But one day he came across the book of kids' riddles in the used bookstore. He would see how the case Bob has built, the hanging in the ice block, had been nothing but a brutal, low-grade, intellectual exercise. Adrian would buy that book off of riddles and carry it everywhere. He would give up the bureau, and he had just coffee for breakfast in a bar like this one, drinking in silence and serving his own sentence. Attention, everyone. Rings the bell and announces it around on the house. Oh. Hold on, let me just use my Xbox. Alright. I'm dead. Restroom. Why are you asking me? He believes in the power of the verb. That's why his whole speech is religious. Religion speaks of the verb. Oh, shoot. Asian. Things do not simply be. Things are transformed. This allows them to divide existence into states. Up and down. Life and death. Heaven and hell. Verb is change, and control of the verb is to aggregate to oneself the possibility of that change. Those who control the verb control the state of things. Adjective is something else. This table, is it round or square? Does it really matter? Isn't it a table after all? Place to rest our glass and get together to talk. Many believe that adjectives are superfluous. You know what, Boulder? Humanity is also superfluous, and I like being human. Humanity objectifies existence. There's a good quote for you, you son of a biscuit. Oh. All right. All right. You go be freaking brothers. Lockpick trunks is not a good idea, but I could. Oh. Wait, they're all sleeping? Check the map. Ah, dang it. Fuck. A graveyard? Oh, yep. This is politics. Yep, I see it. Well, I was getting quicker all of a sudden. We got 2 more episodes until this is the end of the game. Do I get like achievements all of a sudden? Is there like ending? Oh, I see. What was his name? No. Fuck, more fear of the rebellion. Holy crap. Oh, I didn't see it. I died. You know, the longest, according to the gospel, Get the son of a biscuit. I got stabbed. Dang it. Okay, I see. What? Dang it! I got stabbed. Dang it! Fuck. I try to go down, but what the frick? What the heck? I keep clicking. Whatever. Bang. 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 Escape. Oh, cop. Help me with these two. Oh, we're on the last episode. Alright, so this is the finale. Easy, you son of a biscuit. How much longer, Monic? Monic! How much longer? 10 minutes to the nearest F5. You hear that, Boulder? 10 minutes, you're going down to in hell. You fricked us, you piece of crap. Oh, we suspected it. You show up not long after the other traitor. Copra. We're getting close. Hold on tight. Wanna know a secret, Boulder? Get Cobra to the tornado too. Wow, that's dark. The frick up. Tony! What's going on back there? Not that I can handle. Keep us flying. Boulder? Lou? It's over. I need to see my family, Lou. Stop being bolder. Just be me again. That's it? Oh. Well, that was good. Um, well, that was good. Well, the game was good. Um, I know it's about, okay. Oh. Aw. Wow, that's heartbreaking. That was sad. But it was good, though. That was fun. I like this music. This movie. This music's fire.